It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. YK in the building. Good to see you, YK.
Good morning.
How are you?
Well, your colleague nearly died.
Which are you? What
Me?
happened?
On Saturday. No, sorry, Friday night.
So Saturday morning.
We got home. I was at Tails. We got home. Slept. And you know me, when I go like that, I go.
Crash, yeah.
I don't...
Your tired is tired.
My tired is tired. In fact, Theo fights me for it. Because he can be waking me, it's like dead body.
Okay.
So, I heard him say, what's that? He got up from bed. What's that? What's that? He ran outside. He came back, so I just put up my head. I said, is it the generator? He said, I went back to sleep. But he didn't come back to bed. Then I just opened my eyes slightly. I saw red. Fire.
God forbid.
Where? In the house?
In the house. Jen catch fire.
Jen caught fire.
The Jen caught fire.
Oh my goodness.
Eh? My car and the Jen, they were like brother and sister.
The new car.
The new car. And Mother has been using the old one.
Oh my God.
That's why you don't see me using
So how did you put it out?
Come and see. What had happened was the security that were patrolling the street saw the fire because Theo has holes in his gate.
Right.
And looked inside and then started stoning the gate. That woke the dogs. The dogs started barking.
Okay. That woke Uncle Theo. Oh, that woke Uncle Theo.
The dogs gone.
Thank God though. So you're able to put out the fire.
So Theo got up and then
It took about 45 minutes to put out that fire. Come and see. See. And they were shouting to me, Madam, your key! Madam, your key! I was turning up and down. You find the car. No lights.
Panic.
No lights.
You see this no light issue?
They said Chief Odunton is coming today.
We are waiting for you. Don't worry.
I said, I finally, after about 5 minutes, they're looking for clothes to wear downstairs. By the time I go downstairs, I was just like this.
You slept naked in the first place. You know they've warned us about the sleeping naked thing. If emergency happens,
you don't go wear clothes. How you go sleep naked? Why can't 60?
No, but that's like the best way to sleep.
You have a body like
what do you mean?
Okay, let's move on. Let's how are you doing?
Of that?
Me, I'm just grateful to God for life.
Thank God, though.
Today, I'm grateful. I have to reschedule an important meeting today for my children's open day. You know when the small one finally remembers to tell you tomorrow is open day, they never born you, so go and do work. You have to show up at school. So I'll be going back straight to school today. Anyway,
we're running out of time. Hi, Bissy. How you doing?
Amazing. I'm doing great. You're running out of time now. You can be going.
No, but you look beautiful, though.
Thank you. Thank you. I decided to do a family photo shoot. So this weekend, we visited a family friend. We had fun. There was so much sharing, bonding, good food. You know, it was really good. And I was rushing back home. It was all the way at Ikoyi. We're rushing back home because of my mentorship class that was about to start. So I actually started the mentorship class in the car. In the car with my phone. They didn't know I was outside. I just didn't put my video on till I go home and continue. So it was a lovely time. Then on Sunday, thank you. On Sunday, we did our family photo. If you come to my house, it looks like we borrowed the house. There's no one picture of anybody in that house. So I just said, it's time for us to take a picture and just have this family stuff together.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we return, we go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. APC shifts convention to March 26th amid grumblings. Worries over alarming sabotage of rail tracks. Lecturer act, don't push Buhari. Okorocha for court today. Court declines Abakiari's release request. Don't take VP slot or Haneze cautious in Igbo politicians. Tinubu urges Oyetola to be magnanimous in victory. Okay, which stories?
The managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Fidet Ohira, has decried the incessant removal of rail tracks. According to her, she said that the removal of rail tracks were before restricted to the narrow gauge, but now hoodlums are daring and they are attacking, you know, the standard gauge rail lines and removing rail tracks. I believe that, you know, security can be beefed up, but of course we know that it's almost impossible because of interstate travels and all of that. But, you know, the slow time of most of the standard gauge can encourage stealing, people don't think that, the rail as fast as they are. Because when I went on the Lagos-Ibadan one, I was, informed that it can actually go faster than it is. It was structured because of, people crossing the rails to go like that. So they can secure the rail lines and go as fast as it was made to go so that people know that it's a death, daring death itself to go and remove the gauge, the rails.
She also said that they've had issues between the Papalanto and the Abekuta rails. And then they had arrested two with, and there's a picture of them on the cover with the clips and they arrested them with clips. I have to look for it, all the things they arrested them with. The railroad clips, I can't find it.
Right. Okay, let me go to the major headline then, while you're searching for that. So, we know we're going back and forth on this APC convention. And there was a meeting yesterday where the governors were talking, and they finally decided they're going to move the actual convention to March 26th. But before then, they're going to have zonal congresses across the country. And they've also officially informed INEC of the zonal conferences yesterday. And part of the decision that will be taken today, because now they have a meeting with the president today. Part of the meeting they hope to achieve, things they want to achieve at today's meeting, is the zoning and micro-zoning of the party offices, sales and return forms, screening of aspirants, and zonal congresses. So, so far they're moving forward, but at least we thought that the convention will be end of this month, but now it's going to be end of March, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. So the things that they found, pandrol clips, railroad clips, one fish plate, one hacksaw, and a damaged rail pot. And just, they are risking people's lives. Why I think that story is important is they're risking people's lives by stealing these things. Yeah. We should stop doing this to ourselves.
It's we the people who.
Ohanaeze Ndigbo is reiterating that the Southeast will not accept the position of the vice president in the 2023 general elections that is going to be coming. They said that it's the turn of the region to produce the president, and they are warning Igbo sons and daughters not to compromise. So there's this rumor that's been ongoing that I think the Imo State governor, Hope Uzodimma, is about to accept, vice president position with another candidate from another tribe. And they are saying that they do not think this is possible because they have all agreed.
Isn't he governor?
He's governor, no, but he wants to probably contest and accept that position. They are saying
as governor,
as vice president in the 2023 coming elections.
But has it done his 8 years?
It's 4 years now.
That's the rumor. So it's actually a rumor. Yeah. So, but Ohanaeze Ndigbo is saying that he's not among the people who have given, notified and given their interest that they're going to be contesting. They said the person who they've heard from is Dave Omahi, that's the Ebonyi State governor, and Professor Kingsley Moghalu. We already know that. So that any other person who takes that position as an Igbo person, as the vice president, will incur the wrath of Igbo people. Okay.
Moving on quickly to the Punch subsidy. Labour fumes as IMF wants FG against fresh borrowings. NSCDC arrests 6 Beninese for smuggling petrol out of Nigeria. South-South APC lawmakers endorse Yahaya Bello for 2023. Electoral Act groups defy presidency hold protests today. I have chronic diabetes, Abba Kyari tells court. Aregbesol's faction, governor's aide disagree as ministers group falls primary. Politics, my generation should step down, says Obasanjo. And APC shifts convention for 3rd time, fixes March 26th as the new date. All right. Story.
The major story? Yeah. So, the federal government has said that they were going to extend the fuel subsidy regime by 18 months to enable them know the way forward after that. Now, the International Monetary Fund, that's IMF, is saying that when this happens, they are going to be depending on overdrafts from the Central Bank of Nigeria to fund the proposed 2.55 trillion petrol subsidy bill, which is going to affect the country's fiscal position and increase our fiscal deficit. So they are warning against it. And they mentioned, there's a lot of English that they spoke in that, but let me try and summarize what it meant. They said this is going to, that actually the removal of subsidy is progressive and not regressive, because when they did a lot of estimation, they realized that the poor do not even use so much PMS. It's the rich people that use a lot of PMS. The poor use more of kerosene. And so by the time they take away subsidy and the rich pays more for the PMS, it will sort of balance the things between the rich and the poor. And over time, the money removed from the subsidy will be used for infrastructures that will better develop and make the lives of the poor people a lot easier if they use it. So it seems logical. Why are you coughing?
Why are you coughing?
It seems logical. And I think we just need to take a step.
I don't have the data.
And do this.
I know I don't have the data, but if it's true, then because we see when the petrol finally increased somewhat, where we couldn't in these last few days, where there was scarcity because of what happened. People are still buying well.
People that
so
need
the real poor guys are like, they're not even worried about what you guys are going through. Okay, let's find that story in the Punch.
Yeah, a bomb explodes in Niger State. A bomb was planted by terrorists in Galadima, Kogo, community of Niger State, and exploded, killed 4 personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense. They also burnt a lot of the houses in that community and killed a lot of people. The police have said 10 people, but, you know, 10 civilians and 4 CDC officials. Wow. And
okay, which of that story we're taking in Punch? NSCDC, okay, that's the one you just talked about, smuggling.
No, not the smuggling. I talked about the bombing.
Okay, so there was a smuggling also. NSCDC also arrested 6 Benin Republic citizens, and they were smuggling, I think, 6 large metal drums of petrol into their country. And so, I mean, all of them were from the US, and they buy cheap here and they sell at a higher rate in their country. So, and I mean, I'm happy that NSCDC is also joining arms with the police to help to ensure to stop this smuggling.
I'm surprised that they only caught 6.
Yeah, lots of them.
This is a popular business.
Yeah.
They should go and sit down and beg.
Tons of
I told you about all those petrol stations there.
The person that know how I go and see them.
But if we remove subsidy, they won't do that anymore because therefore the same price they're selling in the country is the same price. So there won't be any stop the business. Nigeria don't want to remove subsidy. Anyone doesn't want to remove subsidy. Okay, let us go. Let us find no other story. You need to take about. Why is this? You need to take about your story. Okay, let us move on.
Okay, it's another paper. It's not the papers. About your story is not the papers.
Let's go on it quick. When we come back, we'll move on to other stories. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on to Daily Sun. Convention APC settles for March 26th. Alleged 2.9 billion naira fraud. Okorocha orders arraignment today. Nigeria orders missing in top global LNG exporters. 50 million out of school children, potential Boko Haram insurgents, says Obasanjo. Drug deal saga, court denies Abakari bail. I'll be fair to all, Olubadan assures subjects. While we are rescinding our call for sack of the NNPC Management Forum. And 2023 South-South APC lawmakers back in higher bill. Okay, Mike, you want to take the NNPC story?
Yes, so I want to take the NNPC story because the concerned Northern Forum, a civil society and social-cultural advocacy group, said they gave reasons why they decided to rescind the call for the immediate sack of the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. There are reasons. We commend, we commend the management of the NNPC for taking prompt action by alerting the nation on the bad fuel and for taking measured steps to recall the bad product and injecting over 700 million.
When did they alert the nation?
Wait. What? You know that They should go and tell that one to all the people that their cars.
The people who got destroyed in Lekki.
You remember that video of that guy? He said they have packed their car. They have packed their cars. Their engines have knocked.
Yes.
That they've left the cars for them, that they should repair their cars. One even reported them to the police. The police came to arrest them. Now, I had heard. Yes. The thing started on Monday. I heard by Wednesday about the bad fuel. NNPC didn't talk. I was still saying, like, NNPC would have talked. Yeah. NNPC didn't talk till like Friday.
A whole week.
And they said they alerted.
So a whole slew of engines had knocked before they finally decided to talk.
To alert.
To alert with a letter. Not even with mouth. They sent letter. So that letter, it was on WhatsApp. I read it. They did not.
I actually think NNPC responded early. I think. You see, it's difficult being on the table with you people because people are just horrible. Listen, we have to always be.
When broke on Monday, I was on break. Friday till I resumed, they did not talk.
Wait. You're on YK side. Let me respond.
I have details.
Okay.
I was on a break the Monday that fuel broke. I did not hear nada from NNPC till I resumed. Okay. When I resumed, it took the Wednesday after to take on the front page that the House of Reps had summoned Mele Kyari. So come and wait to order of NNPC to come and explain what happened. Yeah. And just Monday this month, the Minister for State for Petroleum is just saying that it's failure of inspection. If NNPC had announced that there was bad fuel in circulation,
the information that we got that there was the information we got that there was increase in methanol came that initial WhatsApp message that was going around came from them. It wasn't an official press release, but we got there was a scare that there's a possibility that there's an increase in methanol. It came from them.
From where?
From NNPC.
We took it as wrong. When was it said that it was somebody who said,
anyway, please, it is not our hot topic. We're moving on, please. Any story for me?
Quickly.
Please, we have a story. We are reviewing papers. We're not discussing it.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has warned the country's estimated 15 million out-of-school children are potential Boko Haram insurgents in the next 15 years if they are allowed to still roam the streets. So they had a meeting and he stated this. I think they were having an annual conference and he gave, the title was Beyond Boko Haram, Addressing Insurgency, Banditry and Kidnapping Across Nigeria. So he said in 2011, he took a voyage to Borno State, Maiduguri, and he studied the activities of Boko Haram insurgents in 2011. And he revealed that their anger came from lack of education, unemployment, and poverty. And he's advising the federal government that instead of wasting time creating unsustained palliatives, you should try as much as possible to put these children in school. We have 215 million people in the country as we speak, and 15 million are out-of-school children. In like 2035, they will come back as Boko Haram if they are not sorted by putting them in schools. And so he's advising that we should do more than lip service and try and ensure that everybody has a proper form of education.
There was a story I want to take in the Daily Sun. And I want to take this.
You have the other part of what he said.
Abakari is everywhere, but go ahead.
No, let YK finish the part of what Obasanjo said.
No, because I don't understand him. He also said that their generation, we should not allow them to become president again.
Yes.
My own question, he was president 2 times.
Okay.
He's talking about this, he knew when he left in 2011 about Boko Haram, he didn't sort it out. Quickly, he has the solution. You see, my own problem with all these leaders is they always have the solution after they leave office.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is 1. 2, it is not just the age. Please, all of them who have been in power before should go and sit down. Go and sit down.
Power intoxicates now. Do you think
YK, the reason why
they are the people, hold on, they are the people that have systematically destroyed the system what we are facing today.
Yeah, but that's what he's advising.
The reason why
the first school
I used to be I used to believe in that school of thought until I realized that many nations of the world actually have lots of their older. Let me finish.
I don't have a problem with
Let me finish my point. many politicians across the world have older politicians, and the reason why they're there is because they were probably part of the problem, and they're also there to fix it, and they're also incorporating younger people. So what we're looking for is a good mix, not just total eradication of older people, but we need a good mix.
I don't have a problem with old.
Yes.
I do not have it. Don't even get me wrong. Yes. I do not have a problem with old. Okay. I have a problem with the people who have been in power since independence and are still there, and they are still knocking their head, and they want to. I will give you an example. Aldo Ogbe. He's been in power since when? He was still minister. Okay. And then he's the one that carried him. We have turned our paper review to our just hot topic today. We have to move on. Unfortunately.
Well, I'm not taking about that.
I don't have mouse points. Okay. On the road.
All right.
And you return the yam.
Today's show now. Why
okay. YK, calm down. Okay, calm down.
For how many months?
Okay, let's take one more story from Punch.
The federal government, for its fundamental human rights abuse, is asking the court to please order his release because he's and he's also pleading that he has health issues, diabetes, hypertension, and you know he's on treatments, and that they are giving him any food, and that that is making him he's getting weaker. In detention, he needs to go to be released.
All the people that are sold drugs to
he's not even that one. Does it not mean have
I have to run.
This in Nigeria.
Let me. I was going to take. There was a story I wanted to take because of Nima, and now because let me tell you that story. So Nigeria, all of you say we have gas. Yeah, it's flaring gas flaring. Okay, come on, hear the reports.
Okay.
This report says that Nigeria we produce 17.9 million metric tons, the highest in Africa. However, Nigeria, no country in Africa, were in the list of countries with the superlative performance in global liquefied natural gas. So that means we're not even in the top countries at all. What that means is that countries across the world are also selling this gas that we think we have in abundance. Okay. And buyers like China, South Korea, and other countries are also increasing their demand, but they're buying from these other countries, not from you. So if you think you have gas to flare and to sell,
go and sit down.
Go and sit down. Nobody's buying from you. You have, but nobody's buying from you.
We don't have the one to sell. We have the one to flare.
Okay.
Don't even see
that English should be speaking.
That report, I can query that report.
Okay, query
because what we have
is a hot topic.
But that we cannot sell it is our problem. But we can flare it. We are flaring it.
Okay, let us move on. How many minutes?
God bless us.
Okay, I have 3 more minutes. Let's go to Vanguard. I will get through this show. You know what, YK? Thank God one of our mics is not working, so we're stepping you down for the next segment. From this, we're stepping you down. We only have 4 mics. Okay, Vanguard. Upsets as APC shifts fixes convention dates in hours. Bad fuel, independent marketers shut filling stations. Terrorists bomb Niger communities, kill 14. 2023 presidency, court dismisses suit challenging article citizenship and eligibility. There will be credible elections in 2023, says Jonathan. Strike FG ASU meet today. Okay, who has any stories?
I have the
article. Which ones?
They are not interesting.
Port stories. So clearing agents ground port operation, and they're grounding it based on the CBN directive that dealers and general public must, start to take advantage of the e-invoicing that they introduced for all imports and exports in the country. And they've started with the ports in the Tinkan Island ports and the Apapa area port, but they're hoping to extend it to all ports within Lagos if this directive by the CBN is not reversed. They say no go wake.
Let me see, when our former president, Jonathan, is speaking, let us listen. And because he's coming from the part of experience. So the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, has said he was speaking at the ECOWAS, YK. I'm stepping you down, don't worry, after this review. After he was speaking during the ECOWAS strategic retreat they had in Lagos. And he said, I believe elections in Nigeria will be credible. Elections will come and go. From 1999, when this present political dispensation started, we have been going through lots of political issues, and people thought that the nation would implode. But it happened to him in 2015. People they said heaven and earth will fall down. Well, nothing happened. Nigeria will still remain standing. So after this election, we should calm down. That the elections will be credible. Just go and get your PVCs and vote. So when Jonathan has spoken, we must listen.
Amen.
Amen.
All we can say is amen.
Okay.
What do you want us to say?
What other stories in Vanguard? Two other stories.
Just
you shouldn't just go and contest.
The case.
It is his own civic responsibilities and rights.
Like I was
if he
listening to the radio today, somebody said he's still a hero because he saved Nigeria
from bloodshed and war.
Yes, at that time.
I agree.
So he's a hero. He
remember,
should remain so
and
not just bring himself back and become...
Okay, so I have 1 more minute. Any other story?
An important story, the Tribune, the National Association.
Let me quickly take the heads.
Okay, good.
Nigerian Tribune, after 7-hour meeting, APC fixes convention. Let's find that story. Chairman, African Newspaper of Nigeria and PLC, Dr. Olatokunbo Awolowo Dosunmu, during her 74th birthday, NAN gives FG ASU 7 days to resolve impasse. And my health is deteriorating, says Abakiari.
So the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, they have commenced mobilization of students for nationwide protest against the industrial action embarked upon by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, that's ASU. Now, the student body are also giving the federal government and ASU 7 days ultimatum to reach a compromise or face the consequences of their next line of action. What they plan to do is to block all the major roads, block all the secretariats. They were complaining that at the end of the day, after this ASU strike, they would have a meeting. ASU officials will be, paid their dues. The federal government's staff who is involved with all the negotiations, they will get their salaries. But the students are the one who would lose at the end of the day. So they will suffer, they will lose their age, you can't reverse that. The accommodation they've paid for in school, you can't reverse that. A lot of them lost out from NYSC, they were not able to go because they had passed the age. Some of them are not able to get jobs because they have passed the age. That they are not supposed to be paying for the sins of the federal government and ASU, and that needs to be sorted. So after the 7 days, if they do not respond to them, which is going to be like on the 28th of February, they will go on a full-blown strike.
So there's very fantastic news I saw in this day. I think I'm going to start reading more papers, more stories in this day. So it says that technology startups in software development ecosystem in Nigeria and other African countries have attracted lots of investment and support across the globe. Over 700,000 software developers across Africa continue to break grounds. According to statistics, there was from the Google report of 2021. It says Nigeria has been an amazing example of a symbiotic relationship between digital transformation and developer growth in Africa. And that the ecosystem is developing because young people are in demand across the globe for young Africans who are developers in software. So I think that's a good thing. While ASU and Nigerian federal government is doing their thing, these young guys who are doing great work are being poached from different international bodies, and we must look into that opportunity and not let it slip away in our presence. Okay, that is all we can take on front page review. When we come back, Waike will step down and we'll bring in our guest. She's been a naughty girl. Stay with her. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's been a horrible trend of discos officials who go to homes for either maintenance issues or even to check their meters. And they've been attacked by Nigerians. And there are a few clips we'd like to show you on the show today before we introduce our guest. Watch this.
Because they respect you now. I'm even calling you. What type of impunity do you think you people have? You come, you don't know what happened. So then they call you for grant. Then they call you.
So, these are some of the videos that have been trending recently, and we're going to be discussing not just that and other issues concerning electricity in Lagos. As usual, we have our own spokesperson for the discourse, Otumba Odunton. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
It's a good pleasure to have you. So,
thank you very much.
We started with that video because recently we've been seeing lots of it going around, and of course it's worrisome that many of your officials are being attacked, not just in Lagos, across the country. And it's growing, the trend is growing, because initially it happened 1 or 2 spots here, but now anytime an official goes out, there's a possibility he will be attacked. So what are you doing to address, because these are Nigerians, these are not foreigners, these are our own people. What are you doing to protect those of your citizens that go out to work?
Thank you very much. It is very sad that when people are doing their legitimate work and for whatever reason, people will start beating them. And to make it worse, it is not just ordinary people or just beating them. We have cases of big men. For instance, in December 2021, a serving Major General in Abuja asked that our staff of AEDC should be beaten in his private house. Up to now, we reported to the military authority this country with the impunity, nothing has been done to today to that Major General. It's still there. And we have cases all over. In Ijebode, in Ogun State, a police officer actually locked up our staff in his private house for 6 hours, beat them. In 2015, the garrison command in Abeokuta, called Alamala Garrison Command, the soldiers beat up our staff just for going there to fix a faulty transformer. They thought they went there to take off their light. They don't even understand, but they started beating them. We have witnessed the same thing in a place called Ohara in Delta State, same thing in Benin and Asaba. Of course, in Kaduna, again, in 2021, same thing happened. So we have these cases everywhere where our staff are beaten up, and this is unacceptable. We report cases to police. In some cases, I must commend the Nigerian police. We have had a few convictions. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, conviction happen only to lesser people, not to big men. When we report big men, like this issue of this serving Major General of the Nigerian Army, who is a very well-known person in Abuja, and we reported to defense headquarters, we reported to the military authorities, we reported to the federal government, but what do you find? You find them not only shielding him, nobody is doing anything about it. So these are the things that we think should stop. We understand the frustration of Nigerians or how they feel when they don't have light or
so let's talk about the frustration for a moment.
So,
because yes, not trying to justify what is being done.
Justification for
it's not a justification.
And it's unacceptable.
The frustration.
We are frustrated. You are frustrating us.
No, okay, that's not the defense alone. I have the experience where my community, where my parents lived, attacked NEPA Ikeja Disco officials, and they were taken off the grid for 2 years. It was until I went to the office with chief at the time, and were able to meet them. No, it was then I think I went there alone with the MD, and the person in charge of their media told me that this area was taken off the grid. They had attacked their officials. So if it can be done in a small community like Obadore in Alimosho, why can it not be done with the Major General community? We don't have to. There are other measures. If the area is without grid, action will be taken. Why didn't you resort to that?
Okay. It is the same Nigerian that would say that why should we take off a whole community because one Major General should to use his power. In this case, it was even the Major General's wife that started this thing. Soldier's wife, they are known for that kind of thing in this country. And there are so many of these cases. Of course, what we try to do is not to take the law into our hand. We report first to the police. We do all the report that we need to make. And then in the case of military men, we report to the higher authority where they work, thinking that justice will be done. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen. In the case of that area that you mentioned, that was what we had to do because that was happening not once, not twice. It was on a monthly basis. Once they go there to distribute bills, they bounce on them and start beating them. And that happened in other places. In Transamadi, in River State, in Paracourt, same thing happened. We've seen that in Bayelsa too, a couple of times. In Oka, we witnessed twice in Anambra State. So this sort of attack should just stop. I'm just appealing to Nigerians. We should not be beating or assaulting. There was a young man in 2019 who was nearly killed during COVID in Ogun State. In fact, they stabbed him in the eye with a bottle. His name is Jide Ayorinde. This is kind of thing that we're saying. People that are doing their legitimate
So, because these are Nigerians, what are the discos doing to protect them? Because you can apply technology, because the fact that people are actually going around itself is dangerous. Can technology allow you to monitor, okay, this house, they bypass the meter, this house, they're not paying, then you cut them off from the source.
From the grid. Wait, before we add technology, when you're distributing bill, it's a silent work. One person distributes bill, people receive their bills. When there is an altercation, it's usually when the person mounts a pole, demands the bill receipt payment. That's when the altercation happens. So if service has been rendered in an area, because the Obadore case Chief mentioned now, I know for a fact they were in darkness for a long time. And then they'll flash powers for them like 2 days, come with their poles. People, of course, will get agitated that you don't have power and you're asking me for receipt. When did the lights come? So how do you earn the trust of the people first? By providing the service first.
And I just want to say that you are a service provider. We pay you. We pay NEPA. You are not doing us a favor by giving us lights. You owe us. You owe us explanations. You owe us
quality service.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeni Kuchi. When you say we pay you,
yes,
you don't pay. Not you as a person. The percentage of people that pay for electricity is quite low. And in most cases, what you find is that they give people 5,000 naira bill. They pay 1,000, leaving the receivable 4,000, and that will accumulate. This morning, here in TVC, one of your staff, while I was sitting there, came to actually confess to me that he's owing over 70,000 naira. Okay, and this is over a period of over a year. Asking me how he could best deal with it. Now, what I'm saying is that electricity is a product, like any other product. It has to be paid for because it comes with a cost, at a cost. It comes at a cost and with a landing price. Once we determine the cost of it, it will be good for us to be paying for it. I also know, if you notice or see anything that is untoward done by any of our staff, there are ways of reporting all of these things other than resorting to beating them or beating the innocent ones among them. Disconnection is not...
We're not justifying.
So when you say we pay, of course, when you pay for services, you are not doing us a favor. We owe you a duty. And that is why I'm proud to say that when I was here in 2015, the state of electricity in Nigeria was not as good as it is today. If in your area you don't have enough, and in Alagbole, you have average of 16 hours, fact. I'm not confirm that. I'm just saying that we have done better than we were doing before. I'm saying that more people have electricity today.
Okay, let me let BC come in here
today. I'm saying that there are improvements going on. We're just trying to do better. We are not where we are supposed to be. We are not there yet. And I'm still saying that we'll do better than we're doing.
So, Chief Oduto, I want to understand the process of billing. The sort of process it goes through, because I know that for some houses and some areas, they may not have light 1 month to 6 months, and then the bills keep coming without electricity. And that's one of the things that infuriates people when you now come to cut their light, when they see the bills and they have not had light. So how does the billing work in absentia of light?
Okay. Once there is no light, you are not supposed to be billed for those periods when you have no light.
But we are billed.
Not in all cases. Busy, not in all cases.
We are billed.
But in cases where that happens, there's a redress, a process of redress. You only simply need to inform the local service provider. What happened is this, and I'll be honest with you. The billing department is always in the headquarters of the distribution company. The bills, in most cases, are generated automatically. They feed the information. If, for instance, your transformer is faulty and the person who distributes bill in that area did not report their office that on that street, unfortunately, if that information doesn't get to the head office, the billing department, up to a certain date of the month, the bill will have been generated and produced.
Where do they generate the bill from? When there
No. What I'm saying, no. If you need to understand this, the electricity that gets your house, once we take power from the transmission company, it goes into a feeder. Okay. A feeder supplies so many transformers. We meter the feeders, and in most cases, we meter the transformers. What happens is that from the feeder, we know the amount of energy that has gone out to those transformers. From each of the transformers, we know the energy that has gone out into various homes. Unfortunately, because we still have people who are not metered, so many, out of about 10 million, we still have quite a lot of people that are being metered at the moment. So when the bills are generated, it is generated based on the energy supply.
That has gone out.
But in some cases, if those energy does not get to you, which is like a case where there's a fault on that particular street, even though you share the transformer with some other people on the other street, now you get a bill that, of course, has to be adjusted and reversed.
Okay.
So
it's a machine. So it is a system that makes so all these guys these guys go on the electricity. These guys have electricity. These guys don't have electricity. But the feeder, which is the feeder, has generated that feeder. You bill me based on what has generated. Yes. That's why I'm not getting the bill. Okay. So now technology can fix that problem. Yes or no?
So
yes. Yes. Just that we're not there yet.
Okay.
You see, part of what we're trying to do is the issue of installing smart meters. With smart meters, even when you bypass, we will know. But installing smart meters, the meters themselves are very expensive. There are some components like you have to also put a SIM card.
You have to spend money.
You have to pay. You have to, but you see, in spending money to make money,
Nigerians
when you are paying an average of 54 naira per kilowatt hour, even though when you self-generate, you're actually spending over 190 naira to self-generate. The truth of the matter is that everything that is wrong with the system has to do with, one, us as service providers, the operators, two, the policymakers, three, and most importantly, the customers. There are a lot of good Nigerians who pay for their utilities. There are many, many more who do not pay, who bypass their electricity. And the issue of energy theft, what it does is that once we don't get enough payment, we don't have enough to pay upstream to those who produce electricity, those are the generation companies. And when they cannot do that, they cannot pay the gas suppliers. What you have? Drop in generation. When there's a drop in generation, there will be a drop in transmission and distribution. So and what you say? There's no light.
So I don't have electricity in my account. So that
today?
No, for the past 2 or 3 months, like we don't have lights at all. Really? I only get maybe like 1 hour. They bring it around that 7 for like 1 hour, and that's it. That's it, really.
And I remember I used to have a lot of...
I used to have, but I don't know what happened. Something got damaged, obviously, and I've tried to call all the contacts to give me. They don't pick my calls anymore.
They don't pick.
But we do what
but the point
I did with Alaja. I think if you get electric, well, sometimes they are not aware. That's why I say we are not where we're supposed to be.
Yes, the time I called them, they said they were not aware, and they fixed it.
There are some things that we can deploy in terms of technology, and this requires a lot of investment, which can make them to know what's going on everywhere.
Let me tell you something, Osumba. You see, I always tell people, RCCG Redeem had the biggest and I think the best strategy that many churches have copied. They said every 5 minutes, they want a church on the street. That is a strategy that many companies, even many governments, are refused to use. Because if you have your offices every 5 minutes, or like you're everywhere, that you're in our faces, people will know where to come to. When somebody comes to my office and starts climbing a pole, it's not, their office is right there now, go and meet them. But we don't, sometimes you're not visible. And people don't, you're not so close to the communities. People must see you consistently. And when they see you and they know you and you interact with the community consistently, they know where to come to when there's an issue.
Every disco have a unit, whatever generation office. In that Obadori I'm talking about, it's just right down at Igondo that they have where they generate their bills and distribution, whatever from. I'm trying to get the name of what you call your region. And the one for your own place, I can point it to you here, to here. It's just on this street here. But they will not show up until they want to come and cut lights or do something. They don't show up to fix. We reported, my mentee lives here, my younger sister. We reported their meter issue because when she rented the house, there was an issue on the meter. And so when she bought unit, she couldn't load it on the meter. For 6 months, when they finally took a petition and went to the head office, the unit person was saying, the house, there's no number on the house. And he kept passing with that report on that street. he would drive down the street every day and refuse to do his job. So there's a part of your staff unwilling to do their jobs.
True.
Also, but let's talk about this video that we just watched. If, what's it called, the Nigerian protection guys were in the papers the other day, Nigerian president of Nigeria Consumer Protection Network, Kola Olubi, was talking about the silent increment of tariffs. And he quoted the NEROC as acknowledging it. And he quoted some discourse saying, some of them said, it's just 4 naira that we added. Some say, no, we even reduced based on whatever indices. Why was this done and why was this silent? That's fraud.
Okay, let me quickly
Let me quickly
correct.
let you answer that question. Stay with us.
I have mini also.
Stay, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest, Sunday Otunto, with us. Yes, we're going to respond to Nima's question earlier.
Yes. First of all, let me say that we have invested so much in staff training, but we still have a lot of gap. We expect people to do their job conscientiously and efficiently, but I cannot say that we're 100% efficient. But what we try to do, and that's why we're very open and honest and upright about it, is to continuously take on board feedback like this, take it back and do something about it. Like the issue of the local fault in Morayo's house, I will ensure that we notify Ikeja Electric, and I can assure you that we will respond robustly. My only plea to Alaja is that when those good things happen, let the people know. We should be celebrating good. We can criticize bad.
That we are laughing at her going now.
Now, Morayo has been very fair because she knows that we serve her very well. And I know that Alaja is, all of you will be very fair, except that sometimes women and your way of doing things.
Adeboye from Ayobo. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning, yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir, you're live. Go ahead, sir.
Intelligent ladies.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning. And your guest on the program, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. I'm happy that what is happening, the guest you brought and the topic happens to every Nigeria. That is the beauty of this topic. Yes. Let me tell you, I have a 3-bedroom flat at Ayobo. I retired in Abuja. I was paying only 2005, 2007. But of recent, it now jumped to 29,000 from last year, October, 29,000 naira per month. From my pension of 30,000 naira, where will I be getting? From my pension of 50,000 naira, where will I be getting 29,000 naira to pay every month? The gentleman there knows what we are talking about. Yes, there is nothing he's going to say that will be truth about what is happening to us. And that's why I'm saying I'm happy that it happened to everybody.
Sir, are you on prepaid meter? Yeah. Are you on prepaid or you are on estimated billing?
I'm on estimated.
Estimated,
I applied for prepaid, it was approved, it was not supplied until when the map was cancelled, before it is in reintroduction now.
We have map now.
Okay, thank you very much. So, you have to answer the questions. Map, the issue of...
I want Nigerians to understand that there are 2 schemes for metering. One is a very good one, which the federal government initiated. We call it National Mass Metering Program, where the intention is to meter every single household in Nigeria. And I believe that will happen. The job that is to take time. Now, and to get that done, the federal government also decided to empower local meter manufacturers.
Yes, who failed?
Which is the reason why you don't get the large quantity of it instead of importing them from China and elsewhere. The other one is if the National Mass Metering Program has not got to your area, I would suggest very strongly that you should go and apply for meter under MAP, Meter Asset Provider. MAP is back and is working, and I can assure you will get your meter within 15 days. After you finish the process.
So MAP was paused for some time, but it's back now.
Yes, it's back
now. Okay.
So you just go there. In the case of the Ikeja Electric and most of the disco, you just do it online. Once you do that, submit it, they'll come and do an evaluation. The evaluation is just, technical evaluation is actually to look at your house and determine and check the wiring of your house, and then determine whether you need a single-phase meter or a three-phase meter. Once that is done, they'll give you an account number where to pay. Don't pay to any individual. You pay to that account number, which is a joint escrow account held by the disco and the meter manufacturing company. Okay. Once you do that, they will meter you within 15 days. No doubt about that. Okay. That is going on now. Let us take that, see the opportunity. For us, it is better for you to be metered. Yeah. Because when you are metered, you manage energy a lot.
All right. Let me take a few questions from the that I'll come to you, BC. Go ahead.
Okay. September production says, imagine we haven't had lights since September last year, and they just fixed it last week. This week, they sent a bill of 400 for light we did not use. That is, I can't pronounce the name. I don't support violence, but honestly, these officials do too much. They act like civil servants or policemen. Okay. I had an issue with them last month, too. People are angry and frustrated.
Okay, well, let me pause you. Austin is the holder and I'll come to BC. Austin, are you there? Austin, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Yeah, we have issues with the Ikeja distribution company.
Okay.
New buildings in our area. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
We have new buildings in our areas who are not metered yet. Now we applied for new meters, but we are having issues. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, very clearly.
We applied for prepaid meter.
Okay.
But the company is telling us that we are supposed to be registered and they are to be billing us before we get the meter. How can you bill us without connection?
Okay. Thank you very much, Austin. Let me now add business questions to that.
Let me add to that. Yeah, I'm actually being billed now for one of my apartments in Alagbado that does not have a prepaid meter. I will show you. It's here on my phone. I get the bill. I was even reminding my husband a few days ago, we need to go back and tell these people that there's no meter. There's no way I will pay this bill. I will fight them. I'm not going to pay this bill. So what he said now is very, very correct. I have evidence to prove. Okay. Maybe we'll sort out my case.
But I wanted from what you're saying.
No, it's the same thing. They have a new building.
He's saying that when you have a new building, let me explain the process. Okay. And basically you should know better. Okay. So you have the best access to get what you need. When you have a new building, you need to have an account number. So the first thing you need to do is to register that property with your local distribution company. And they will give you, once they do that, the process means that you get a bill for the first month. Okay. But that's what will give you all the unique numbers. Okay. Take that bill, go and apply for meter on that map straight away. If you do that, you won't have to pay for 2-3 months. You will get your meter. So those who did they have issues, yes, you're still getting billed because you are still on estimation. If you apply today, and I'm telling you today, I can sit down with you for the next 1 hour after you finish this program. Okay, we're going to do the application online. Okay. You will get...
For them to take away this bill. But this bill I did not use. There's no meter.
Let me now talk about not using a bill. If your property is empty, for instance, if there's nobody in your property or you travel or nobody there, you have a duty, you have an obligation to write to your local disco and let them know there's nobody there.
We've done that.
Now, there's no magic to know that there's nobody there. And if you have a megad who is at the gate, putting on the fence light, there's somebody there. Again, that's where the unfairness of estimated billing comes in. It is better for you to be metered. There will not be any argument. Okay. I'm saying that. No. If it's on that map, in special case, you get your meter. Yes. Because the meter manufacturer will produce for you and supply you because they are getting paid straight away. It's a straight case. It's different from
the first question you asked has not
free of charge.
I want to get the details. The first question Nima asked about the silent increment. That
one. Let me there's nothing like a silent increment in electricity. I think we, the educated one, need to educate our people who are not educated. But when I hear from highly educated people that something like that happened.
It
baffles me. Let me explain.
He was not on the website.
Nima, let me explain. You are a lawyer.
He was not.
Number one,
no
the business of fixing tariff, incrementing tariff, or decreasing tariff is not the job of any electricity distribution company. It is the job of a regulator, NEC. That is their job. They're the ones that do this. And we need to commend them. They are doing a very difficult job, and they have tried so much in recent years. I keep on saying that let us see where we are coming from. Let us see where we are. Let us talk about where we're supposed to be. And I agree that we are not where we're supposed to be, but there has been an improvement. We're not saying a system. Every 6 months, there is always a review. That's what the law says. And again, I'll probably have to send it to her, my learned colleague here, to explain to people.
It's because you're a
I'm not a NEPA man.
If you're a disco man or a disco man,
no more NEPA.
See, if you are in our shoes,
I'm in your shoe. I'm a customer shoe.
Let me explain to you.
Yes.
We are the citizens that are suffering.
And I'm a citizen that is suffering.
No. Wait. You should know, the NEPA, you are doing your best. No. Your best is not good enough, obviously, because if it was good enough, when you sit down here, we will sit down here and be saying, oh, NEPA, you are too good. Oh,
well done, we'll be clapping.
We will be clapping, but we are not. We have complaints, and we have, we have the complaints of the people, because we are living
amongst the people. We are the people.
But we are not living among ghosts. We are also living among people.
What we are saying is this, that you give us estimated billing, you charge us higher amount. Look, if you are charging me 800,000 naira a month, and I'm still buying diesel 200,000 a week, I'm going to complain.
Yes.
I'm still repairing generator.
I understand.
I will still complain. Your best is not, obviously your best is not good enough for me.
I understand.
I was sitting with one Oyibo man last week, and he was, when we were talking about our NEPA bill, he said, oh, wow. And my bill is $45 a month. And we're looking at him, And this is in America where the NEPA is expensive.
Okay,
they
we have to wrap up.
No,
we have to wrap up very soon.
And our own earning power is considerably lower than in America.
Question. Okay. So I have summarized this person's complaint. Obviously, he has a prepaid meter that has units on it. But every month, he stops giving power until he's reloaded. That's what he's saying, John Ibino.
He stopped giving power. What do you mean?
When so you have a prepaid meter.
If you have a prepaid meter
in a building unoccupied, the units on it is supposed to power the energy-saving bulbs for security. But every month he's called to reload units on it, even though there's existing units.
Please link me up with the customer, because if you have prepaid meter, and that's what I keep saying.
Is it possible?
They will say a building is empty. Go there, you see lights on. And I'm being honest, this thing is not magic.
But how many units do you need?
No, it depends on how many units.
Must you not exhaust your unit before?
How many bulbs you have?
It depends. That's what I'm saying. It is just speculative. You don't know the exact load in that building. You can't compare Yanni's mansion with my small apartment. So,
which mansion again?
I know how much it costs for Yanni and Femi to run the mansion. The mansion.
How much?
We
have all been to the mansion. Why can't you calm down?
So in Yanni's house, they will have to obviously spend more money. I'm talking about the pain that we all have. It affects us too. Yanni and her husband have spent weekend in my house, and we use generator throughout. I'm not proud to say this. I'm saying that we are not where we're supposed to be. How come they did not give me like that? I have special guests. No. I'm going through the same pain that other people in the community go through. So I feel your pain. I know how you feel. But I'm just assuring you that the federal government of Nigeria, with all stakeholders in this sector, unlike before, they're trying their best now to make things better. Let us just trust ourselves for a minute. Let us believe that this thing
As we wrap up with you, Otumba, there are some communities that have this premium billing. How has that been? How has it been profitable for you?
Fantastic one. Why is it fantastic?
Because
it's a special premium arrangement whereby those people are the ones paying the real cost of electricity. So if electricity comes to me at 90 naira, and Yenny is still paying 54 naira, and one man wants to pay 92 naira, I will take my electricity to that man because that man is covering my cost.
So they're premium.
I'm able to, yes. Go to Magodo. Go to Shoni.
Yes, now.
Go to
No, I'm around. Look, I've not entered the estate. I'm outside the estate.
We are doing well. Go to Amen Estate. We are doing well.
How do we get into this premium?
Oh, very easy now. Talk to your local disco. Tell them that this is what you want.
Want to be premium, and you
don't
get
beat
like.
them up. Don't unleash your dog on them.
No, for
we
what?
will do it for you.
Okay, on that note, thank you. So the premium, the low in Nigeria, those who are rich, have money that they want.
No, but they are paying for the night.
No ordinary person.
Electricity abroad is expensive.
Ordinary people are not entitled to
Okay, we have to wrap up. Thank you very much, Otumba Odunto. It's a pleasure having you on the show. We'll bring you often because we need to get more.
Bring him again.
Because this is an issue that pains Nigerians. So we need to hear from you, and until Nigerians understand, they can never trust you.
Is not enough. Because he has not used his tongue to remove himself from everything.
We have to wrap up. Thank you so much, sir. No, I love what you want to say.
On this show, I'm your husband.
No, let's go to a break.
And not for lowering you.
Come back. We have another important guest to bring on. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So on this segment, we'll be discussing the updates on the collapsed 21-story building and how Lagos State is to prosecute 4 homes. Joining us on the show is the National President, Mr. Oluwatoyin Ayinde, Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, and he was also the chairman of the committee that sat presided over the review of what happened with the story building collapse. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
Good morning,
sir.
Good morning, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. So now we saw the report. He came out recently and gave us all the various the accusations of what happened, the investigation that happened, how it took place, and then the fact that these companies will be prosecuted. Could you, in a nutshell, summarize for us your findings, just very quickly, so that we can take the conversation from there?
Well, first, let me say that I think what you saw was the white paper.
Yes.
That government is the author of the white paper. Where the tribunal, it wasn't a committee, it was a tribunal. That's why everyone that came before the tribunal was on oath. The tribunal had its findings and its recommendations gave to government, and then government set up its own white paper committee and went through all that we submitted and came out. But let me say that what the tribunal did was to work on the documents that were brought to us. Don't forget that the building had already collapsed, and what we needed to do, anything after that date of collapse was after the effect. Mm-hmm. So what we did was to study the government documents on it. There was a file on it. We went through that file. Of course, we subjected the materials on site to testing, and we engaged an internationally reputed, certified building material testing laboratory. It wasn't just anyone. It was with the reports from the laboratory and what we gleaned from the fire. And we also had the opportunity to get into the house of the chief executive of Fourscore, right, with the police and members of his family. We didn't take anything away. What we just did was to scan, snap those things we needed, thought would give us sufficient.
In a nutshell, I mean, you said you blame the collapse of the erosion of professional ethics and disregard for due diligence. And that's what I wanted to harp on today. Where you said lack of professional ethics, this could be defined in different ways. So it's important for us to understand what that means. Is it that the workers there were not professional? Is it that the owner himself wasn't professional? At what point did you notice lack of professional ethics?
Now, our word really was not just professional. I say it was a collapse of ethics, morals, and values. So, and when we say ethics, morals, and values, it's not just about professionalism. When we were making our submission, there's a phrase I used in my address, and I said members of the tribunal will be seeking protection because in a few weeks' time or in a few months' time, they will actually become the villains. Because Nigeria is not ready for progress.
Wow.
Nigeria is not ready for progress. Because at the end of the day, what you will have will be that, okay, we're trying to solve collapsed building issue that has been with us since 1971. 1971, it's over 50 years now. Now, people expect these things to be solved without finding anyone responsible for the lapses. And that's going to be very difficult. For all of us who were on that tribunal were private sector people. None of us was a government holder. I had served government, but I served in the capacity of a commissioner. And I was brought in because of my professionalism. So when assignments like this are given, I dare say that it goes beyond the ordinary. We were on trial as members of the tribunal. We were on trial with our children. I have children to whom I'm a mentor, and they're trying to see how will their father behave. You know, I have proteges who are looking at me, who have seen how I have behaved over the years. All of my members are people who are coming from years of experience, and people are looking at them. Are they going to be objective? Let me say that even professionals did not trust the tribunal. And that's why everybody was setting up his own kind of panel and things like that. And for what purpose? I thought that we should be giving information to those professionals because they represented some professional bodies. So that's what I meant by a collapse of ethics, morals, and values nationally.
Okay, so we're told that the government accepted 26 out of the 28 recommendations. I would have loved to know what those 2 that they did not accept is. That's one. Then secondly, it was written that all the negligent professionals and civil servants whose failure led to the tragedy will be disciplined and prosecuted. In the course of your investigation, did you pin those people who were responsible? Do you have their names? Okay,
let me go to the first question. You know, like everybody, I just read the news of the release in the newspaper. In fact, I was with Oweri and Umar here as I just landed from the airport, and somebody just sent me the document. So I just learned about it. I actually don't know the 26
that was picked.
That were picked. I don't know the 2 that were rejected. But I also read that the government, I mean, there was a statement that the 2 or 1 was nebulous or something like that. You know, what is nebulous is hazy. I'm not sure, but I think the media can also ask government
to tell us.
Yes, because I really do not know. But what we did was to look through stage by stage, process by process, who was responsible for what were the lapses, what were the things meant to have been done and were not done. And we were able to put those names together. And we had not just prose, we had a tabulated form of what we did.
Okay, so in one of your reports, you mentioned that one of the approvals was a fraudulent one in the report. Also, you mentioned also that, you know, the Force Code Limited or Company Limited must be prosecuted. Now, if we lift the veil, I'm wondering if you did as a panel, who are the remaining directors that we can find, considering that, you know, the helmsman himself died in the collapse.
Yeah, the document we have for Fosco shows that he has 2 directors. So one director died. There's one more director. So as far as the tribunal was concerned, there's still a director. So that's 1. 2 is that there were actually lawyers who represented Fosco. And initially, they said they had no more information than we had because we told them what we had and what they could give us. They said they had no more information. But to the tail end of the assignment of the tribunal, the same lawyers came and requested to visit the site because they had a hunch that there might have been a foul play. So when you have a team of lawyers coming from that angle, then it shows you there's a company somewhere. So that's what we thought. So you know what? Prosecute these people. Since there is a company on ground that is even able to say, even when 52 people have died, there's still a company that is saying, okay, we think there's foul play, so let them come and then they can prove it.
One of your recommendations was that the other 2 buildings be brought down. Did you inspect those buildings and did you notice that they too were not well?
I'd like to add to that question because that was part of my second question. I mean, those 2 other buildings, because to a layman, what the answers a layman is asking for is that they did not dig deep enough to hold that kind of that level of layers, or is it that they use poor materials? So when you inspected these buildings, because they're already recommending for those 2 buildings to come down, is it the soil, is it the foundation, is it the length of the foundation, or is it the materials they use exactly that had problems?
Okay, everything. Part of the report showed that even when the piles for foundations were being made, there were failures. Although there was claim to have redone them, but let's assume that they redid them. But these were structures that first came in as 5-floor design, and then they went to 7-floor design, and then to 10-floor design, and then to 15-floor design. And one of them was now taken to 20 floors. By the way, it was 20 floors, not 21. Now, what happened was that there was just an incremental process. And by the time the tribunal, we had experts and were being advised. By the time the desk analysis, the engineering desk analysis was done on those 2 buildings, we discovered that the engineers might have considered dead load and live load. The dead load are the construction materials themselves. The live load of the human beings that will come later. But they did not consider wind load. And when it comes to a height like that, you have to consider wind. So what will happen, or what would likely happen, was if there is a storm and people are already living in those 2 buildings, they could actually come down.
So who approved those increments from 5 to 10 to 15? Who?
From 5 to 7.
No, there was no process of approval for 5, 7, or 10. There was a submission for 15 floors. And that was the only approval that the developer had.
And went ahead to
those that approval was processed in 3 days.
In 3 days. So that was not properly done.
Wow.
So for us, it couldn't have been properly done. There wasn't sufficient time
to investigate,
in the view of all professionals to investigate properly that level of development.
You know,
these corners we like to cut in
my
this
own
country.
Fear or my thoughts are, okay, this is not the first building in Lagos that has collapsed. This is the first one that we are actually seeing the results of the tribunal. We're actually seeing the
government action.
Not even just the government, that the recommendation of the
white paper,
the prosecution of the
owners of the building.
The owners of the building. Because the one that happened with synagogue till today, where we didn't hear anything. There was one in Lekki. They made a show of arresting the guy. We haven't heard anything. This is the so is it because the owner died?
I can't say whether it's because the owner died, but you will know that it's usual for government, especially if many people died, to institute or constitute a panel to probe. And I have to thank the Lagos State government for that privilege. It's a privilege. One of the things we stated in our recommendations is that government should go and exhume all previous recommendations. We're not coming from the moon. we're also professionals, like previous professionals have sat on tribunals or panels like this. So government will do well to also go and exhume those reports and see what they can learn from them and implement. And moreover, we're also saying that we're hoping that government will have courage, because to do the right thing in Nigeria is difficult.
Let's pick your brain a bit, because you made a statement earlier, which I thought was really profound, that Nigeria is not ready for development. And I think that is something that is worth discussing further, especially because you've been in government before under Fashola, and you've also gone back to your professional job. In your view, do you think, how do we stop this bleeding that Nigeria is going through, where all of us seem to be very immoral? I mean, before you came on, we had Otumba talking about the fact that they are beating up staff of the PHCNs. Yes, and people are saying, well, there's a reason now, because they come and give us all this billing. But it's like we're a system of, I hate to use it, crazy people. Everybody's jungle justice up and down. So, you know, because you're in government, where have we gone wrong? And how can we fix this bleeding where even professionals are cutting corners and everybody seems to be above the law in our country?
The truth is, all of us at one time or the other have an opportunity to do what is right. The way I look at it is, it's my duty to do what is right. So before I ask you to do what is right, I must first show you that example that I am struggling to do what is right. I think Nigerians, many Nigerians want to do right. There are some who want to do bad, but they're also looking at, who is that person breaking the law? If I tell my driver, when you get to a traffic light and you see amber, is he ready to run or ready to stop?
Ready to stop. They bashed me.
You know, because when people see amber, they begin to, so I tell my driver, if the light was on green, once it gets to amber, it's ready to stop. So don't speed.
Right.
But, you know, someone can bash me.
They bashed me.
And they'll be pressing the horn.
Yeah, but I tell people, I will not, on account of that, make somebody else, make me become what I am not. I will still stop in the future, because I believe that I have to leave an example for my children. Anything that I cannot tell my children how I arrived at, just forget it. I'm not going to do it, because it's going to be difficult. And that's the way I think Nigeria should grow. But I'm not sure. It's painful. I mean, I've spoken somewhere and somebody said, it's painful to be ethical in Nigeria. Yes, it's painful because you will be punished for it.
Exactly, exactly. You are in traffic, and I keep saying it, the traffic is, you are in traffic, you decide to stay on the right lane, everybody will go on the wrong lane. They will go, you will be there, because you have decided to do the right thing. When will it end? How will we stop it? How will we stop this cancer that has eaten our... And I'm happy you said it's by example. Because I keep saying, when I say it, Mariah will say I keep accusing government. I am not accusing government. I'm just saying, if people see government officials doing the right thing, they will...
That's the strongest example.
I was passing today, I saw FRSC people jump the petrol queue Who are they to jump the petrol queue?
Let me take this call.
FRSC officials?
Let me take this call. Shakira from Ikoyi. Good morning, Shakira.
No, it's not Shakira. It's Shakiru Omolaja.
Shakiru Omolaja, welcome to the show, madam.
Oh, how can it be madam? Anyway, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Shakiru. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Now, I have two views, please. Can you hear me, please?
Very clearly. Go ahead, please.
All right. Number one, may I ask our father there, Babandi, whether the person who did the approval in 3 days would also be prosecuted?
Before.
That's number one, please. Number two, I am a legal practitioner. I know what goes on when it comes to approval of buildings to an extent. Over the years, something terrible has happened. You could have your house and apply for a building plan that will be processed and it will be approved for you. But because of the inordinate ambition, the inordinate drive for revenue generation in Lagos State, they are now saying that you must have a C of O before you can get your approved building plan or a registered conveyance. Now, that has thrown a great spanner into the works. Because those who are going to do a C of O, as a lawyer of about 25 years, I have never processed one single C of O, and I will never do it until I go to my grave. Because the system is absolutely corrupt. You will have to pay every table before you get your approval done. So I don't process C of O. Why must you tie C of O to getting an approved building plan? Hence, you see people cutting corners. I am not making excuses for anybody, please.
Right. Fantastic question. Thank you so much, sir. This is your industry. Please help us understand.
Well, let me start by saying that I'm hoping that government will follow through with the white paper. Everyone who has had something to do with that process has been identified. Recommendations have been made. Truly, it's no longer in the power of the tribunal. Like Baba Obasanjo was reported to have said that you may be my special advisor, but the onus now remains with me to either follow your advice or not. So we've made our recommendations, and we're hoping that justice will be done because we've lost 52 people. Lost 52 people.
Sir, the other question, very important, yes.
That there must be a C of O before you process your building plan approval. I think there's a relief to that. I think now you can still use your receipt with stamp duty. That was on before I became a commissioner. I tried to remove it, but then the governor then explained the difficulty where 3 people will show up with receipts on the same plot of land and things like that. But there's been a relief. I think there's an agreement to follow it up with a deed of assignment or something like that. But it's not as bad as
it used to be. Let me take Kalumi that I come to BC. Kalumi from Oshogbo. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here, madam.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, I just want to ask you one question. We know that the Lagos State government shut down the building a year before it collapsed. Who ordered the release of the person that was arrested and who ordered the reopening of the building? That's what I want to know.
So it was closed down, yes, and then it was reopened. So have you also identified that person that approved the reopening of that construction?
Yes, so this is question.
Okay, you want to answer?
No.
Take mine first.
Yes.
Okay. So I know that part of the recommendation was that these people who are culprits should be prosecuted while the matter is still hot before it dies down, and that the public must be made to, must be carried along so that it at least to regain their trust in government. Now, who will monitor or hold the government accountable if this does not happen?
Okay. Let me start with that, and then I will answer the other question. Who will monitor government? I think it's the media.
Okay.
I think it's the media, because we call them the
gatekeepers.
The gatekeepers, the fourth estate of the realm, the watchdogs and things like that. It's the media. I also think professionals too can do it. But professionals too will do that only through the media. I've been traveling. I've been in 20 states now. And part of what I'm doing is advocacy, trying to tell people, trying to tell governors to do things right. So it's the media that will do that. Who ordered the sealing of that who ordered the unsealing of that development? From the tribunal's report, it remained a mystery, and we didn't want to load it on a dead man. You know, if he was alive, there are a few possibilities. If a building is sealed, it's supposed to be unsealed by government itself. So the report says that the commissioner sealed it. It was the commissioner and his task force that went to seal. So the only person, there's no way permanent secretary will unseal. There's no way a director will unseal.
Only the commissioner.
So it's only the commissioner or someone higher than the commissioner. But we had no proof. Now, the only person who will have told us, and there are other occasions where a developer breaks the seal. So the only person who will have told us or to confirm whether government unsealed or he was the one that broke the seal was Mr. Oshibono himself, who is not alive. And we just thought it wouldn't be fair to say that, okay, because the man is there, so he's the one. So that remains a mystery.
Yeah. Okay, so you are the president, national president of Institute of Town Planners. Now, there are town planning issues we have across the country. People just come up with all sorts of building in different places and blocking drainages here, not planning for ensuring that the communities are well served. You know, a lot of haphazard planning going on. What are you doing as a president? How do we even fix it? Because these are structures. Are you going to start pulling down buildings? What exactly would you do? How do you do your job effectively across the country?
And just as an aside, there was this guest I had, the foreign guest I had, and I showed him the town planning office. I said, oh, that's the... He said, you have a town planning office in Nigeria?
Wow.
He was shocked.
Wow.
You, seriously? Are you joking? That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I agree. Now, I think we have a wrong notion of town planning in Nigeria.
Okay.
And I tell people that what people think is town planning is exactly what is not town planning. Because people look at town planning only from the angle of building plan approval. So when you have approval, you have done town planning. When you don't have approval, I hope I'm still on.
I hope so, though. I'll be told. But go ahead.
When you don't have building plan approval, then you have not done town planning. But it is wrong. The truth is, the responsibility to plan anywhere is that of government. Government is responsible for planning. Town planners are only tools to help them, just like it's government's responsibility to protect life and property. And then you have police that runs it. It's government responsibility to uphold law and order.
Yeah.
And then there's a judiciary system. That's how there's also a town planning system. So planning answers to a vision. When you see estates organized in US or UK, it's because there's a public housing policy. But because there is no public housing here, everybody does self-help. And there is no way we will do self-help and we will maintain the same standards because we have different access to land, we have different access to funds. So you can do 10 floors and BC will do 2 floors beside you because we are different individuals building. But in other countries, it's corporate organizations that are building. So you will have the replica of the same thing, and they can repeat it from estate to estate, from city to city. So if our governance is a tough thing.
It is.
So it's not what anybody just gets into. When you say you want to be a governor, It's not an easy thing. So you must have that vision that helps the professionals to help you to now make a blueprint. It's that blueprint that we cannot make because most of our leadership is without vision.
On a joking note too, you know when you're traveling, you're coming back from abroad and you are getting close to land, and you look down. When you travel outside and you see other countries, everything is laid out, organized, beautiful. It looks like an artwork. But once you come here,
it's government vision.
Like a beam.
Yes.
So now,
they go and build
this
on
deficit
rivers.
you just mentioned, and what BC just clearly explained in pictures, we have a deficit in housing that these developers start to come into.
Yes.
Is it impossible to plan with these developers such that they cannot come and build on a planned water reserve, what's it called, flood reserve? They can, is it impossible for government to say, we need you people because we need to partner private sector? Come in, but follow this guy.
And let me add to that, because we have a very few minutes left. Yeah. Other countries also, because of housing issues, they have all this high-rises where they have, they call them the projects, but they have lots and lots of these across Manhattan, across the bed. Lagos is a city like that, and people are coming into Lagos every day. Why can't we commit all these small chocolate houses all over the place and build high-rises so that Nigerians can have places to stay?
One of those things the Fashola government was trying to achieve when it embarked on the Salegongon project. Salegongon is in Lagos Island, where we pulled about 11 plots of land together, 11 small pieces of things. And there are about 13 floors of 52 housing units, with those who owned having part of it and the rest going for commercial. It's a government thing. Government must be decisive. And that's why it is called government. Government has the responsibility to put real estate firms, real estate companies in order. There are those who ask you to come and buy land and then you get a cow and then you get a ram. It just doesn't measure. They don't add up. And you find people having estates in fragile areas, in low-lying areas, which become flooded, as one happened like that in Abuja some time ago. So government must really sit down and be sure where it needs to go. And then there are professionals who will advise them on how to get there.
So the person in the power, the yoga, should have a heart of cement. Cement hearts.
Visionary leader. That's what Nigeria needs.
Be courageous.
Thank you very much.
Courageous, visionary. If you can have vision and not have heart.
Okay, we have to run, but gosh, I wish we bring you more in, because you've experienced government, and one of the Buhari administration issues is that we seem not to be a visionary governor or president, although we've seen the fact that he's working hard in agriculture, he's working hard in, I think, what else is he doing? infrastructure. But there are other areas. Education is lacking. It's
a system. It involves systems.
But how can a government, how can a president touch everything? Is it possible? Or are you going to touch everything or just focus on something?
There's what we call facing.
Don't do it. If you can't do it,
there's what we call facing. So when you have, look, it's like a human body. We have the circulatory system, excretory system, digestive system, nervous system. It's like that. So when you say you will not eat, you want to face circulatory system first and forget the
digestive system.
So everything has to work together. But like somebody said, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it little by little. So you can face it. But it first begins with a vision. We want to build a 100-floor housing. Let's build 100 floors. But we can do 10 floors first. And then in the next 10 years, we do another 5 floors, and the next. So that's the way it will work. We just don't seem to have a beginning, and we don't seem to have an end. If we cast a vision, what are the milestones? What are the quick wins? So that we can measure, every citizen can measure what is the Nigerian vision.
Thank you. Will you contest? We don't
This is all this. That's all we can take.
Nigerians don't need someone like me.
I tell you. All right,
Because
that
they
is
want me
all.
to give money to people. Why am I going
And you wouldn't do that. Somebody told us on the show that he's happy that you're chairing this panel because you're incorruptible. He told us straight up that, oh, is this he did? He's incorruptible. There's nothing I do that. You get the value. I mean, he told us he was very confident. All right. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us on the show. That's all we can take on the show today. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.